Alright guys, so we'll check out what's new in Jelly Bean. This one is the Nexus 4 running 4.2, so you'll see a few things that changed from 4.1. But for the most part, those are minor tweaks. Quite a bit's changed since Ice Cream Sandwich, and even more obviously coming from Gingerbread. Whole nother world. So first we'll really dig into the new kind of apps that they got on here, and then really burrow down into the settings menu. So one of the big ones has been the quick settings, which you can scroll down and then tap this icon up here, and that's going to toggle between these settings and notifications. So you can see, tap this. Oddly enough, it has you up there, and when you tap yourself, it pulls up your profile, kind of as if you want to call yourself or anything like that. So I don't know what that's all about. The most helpful feature here is the brightness toggle. So we can, just by tapping on the icon, adjust the brightness. Now that's the only one that turns into a true toggle. The other ones just take you into a settings menu. So for example, if we go to Wi-Fi, it's just going to pull up the Wi-Fi menu. So I imagine with the custom ROMs, these will definitely turn into toggles, and hopefully in later Android versions it'll become toggles, because taking you to the settings menu isn't too helpful. I guess we just found out that airplane mode is a toggle, but Bluetooth is not, so that's kind of a strange one. One trick there is one finger brings down notifications. If you slide with two fingers, it's going to take you right to the quick settings. So two fingers to the settings, one finger to the notifications. You can also now tap on the clock to take you to date and time settings. Again, this one seems kind of weird, because not too often are you having to adjust your time settings. May have been more helpful if it takes you to a calendar. But you can tap right there. Now, let's also show you alarms. If you don't have any alarms, nothing's going to be there at all. Another new one in 4.2 are the lock screen widgets, where if you slide to the right, you can see it's going to take you right to the camera application, and it'll pause there for a second to let you swipe back. So I'm just swiping to the right at the lock screen. It's showing the clocks in the different cities that I have lined up there. And if I slide to the left, I have no widget right there. I can add a widget. I'm going to do the face unlock. So we'll add calendar. And so let's lock it again. Now we get taken to the lock screen menu. If we slide to the right or left, now we see the calendar. I can keep going and keep adding more widgets, and just enter the lock screen to add a widget. So we can get Plume, the Twitter, in there. So now we'll lock up again. It's going to take you out to this clock screen, and I can go over and check out other widgets. So fully functioning widgets. It's pretty nice, but yeah, it's pretty nice. I don't plan on using it too much, but if that's something that interests you, you'll like it. Also, if Twitter is your main thing, you can slide Twitter to be the first one that pops up. Now this is going to change a little bit. You see it shrinks it. It's going to shrink it now, because this is the unlock screen, where now if I go over, that's going to stay the same, but that's big. So yeah, I mean, you can adjust the screen that the lock widgets come to. It's not fully fleshed out yet, but it's a cool idea. Just needs a little bit of tweaking. So I can take all those off, which I'm going to do right here. You're just going to hold, let's see. This is the calendar. I'm going to remove that. This is the clock one. I'm going to put that one back to the default, and then I'm going to go over and throw away the Twitter. So the other new thing is now this, well, now you can unlock to anywhere, and this little thing right down here is going to be Google Voice. So it's still going to make me unlock. Let me go ahead and just take those off real quick. So you can see that new icon on the lock screen takes you right to Google Voice. So the security settings, we're going to take off the face unlock. I'm just going to say no or slide. Alright. So those are the new lock screen widgets. They're alright. Some people may find it more useful than me. I'm pretty much only turning on my screen just to unlock the phone, not to check certain widgets. So another big improvement, this one's limited to 4.2, is the new keyboard. So let me get to a good app to show you that. Pull up Evernote, create a new note, and the keyboard looks the same on the surface. This is the new keyboard. The big improvement here is the swiping that you can use. So I tried Swift key or swipe a lot. I just never really got into it for whatever reason. This one just seems to work much better for me, and so I can make anything. I can make any word into a swipeable word, and it's just a lot easier for me. Abba Zaba. We're going to tap there, touch again to save. It's going to add to dictionary. And so now, when I do Abba Zaba, it's going to take me right there. It also works really well with screen names. So that's my popular screen name for me. So that's awesome. I really like that. Really like the swipe. Another little minor UI tweak is that they've changed the settings for when you open an app and multiple applications could perform the action. So for instance, let's just get right into the settings and clear the defaults on the launcher application. And then I'll show you, they made one minor change. The other one was already in there. So I'm going to go in here, clear defaults. I got another launcher app, so I'll just show you. Now when I press home, given the same options, this thing is new for Jelly Bean. And so you have to tap one and then make your selection. But they changed it where you don't have to make a selection. You don't have to say just once. You can just double tap. That's pretty nice when you want to have the option kind of each time to pull it up. So now I can just double tap on launcher. The other trick here, and this is from even 4.1, it's not new to 4.2, is that if you hold down, it's going to open up that application setting menu. So that can be nice if you got an app that always is trying to perform an action. You may never use that app. You can just get rid of it right from here, or whatever else you might want to do. So it's a pretty neat little feature. We'll go back to the stock launcher for you guys. Nothing really new with the stock launcher that I can find. You're still only adding widgets from here, which is a bit of a struggle when you have just a ton of widgets. I mean, this is, I don't know, 10 pages at least, maybe 15 that I'm going through. So unfortunately they didn't make that any easier. What they did do, and as far as I know this is new, they added an extra column or row, I'm not sure which, so you can show a lot more apps on one page. That may just be for certain devices, or maybe 4.2. Another new thing, if you weren't aware with Google Now, you can swipe up on any app, just swipe up from these navigation buttons. And so we can just open up the store, swipe up, takes me straight to Google Voice, or Google Now, settings, same thing. So now let's dig into the settings menu for 4.2. I'll try to point out things that changed from Ice Cream Sandwich, but I've been using Jelly Bean for a while, so it's going to be hard to know exactly what's changed. Most of it to me feels pretty normal now. As you can see, the UI is pretty similar. They now have broken down all of the accounts. And so if we dig into Wi-Fi, one thing I've noticed in here that I haven't seen before is avoid poor network connections. It doesn't seem to work too well though. Like if I go right outside my house, it's still connected to the Wi-Fi, but internet doesn't work. And it takes about 15 seconds for the phone to realize that the internet doesn't work. Then it drops the Wi-Fi connection at that point. So it doesn't constantly try to stay hooked up to the Wi-Fi, which an old phone would have, and would have just sat there and never downloaded. I would have had to turn off Wi-Fi manually. So that, I think, is a new feature. Wi-Fi optimization, I'm not quite sure what that is doing. It's supposed to be better for battery. So, that's the Wi-Fi. Bluetooth, pretty straightforward here. Data usage, I don't think anything is new in here. But nonetheless, it's still nice, and I have 378 showing here, and when I log on to my T-Mobile account, it shows 378 megabytes. So this thing is it's deadly precise, which is awesome. And I did set my limits here. You just have to tap the mobile data, and the orange is where you would get a warning that you're getting close, and red, I'm not sure exactly what would happen. Hopefully it would prevent you from going on, or just tell you to turn off your limit. So we go in here, you'll see tethering and portable hotspot. I have not tried to use that yet, so I can't tell you if that works. NFC and beam. So those are going to be two separate options. I can show how beam works in another video. Or sometimes it doesn't work from what I've found. Mobile networks, that's all the same. Cell broadcast, I think this is new, so if there's an emergency in the area, it's going to show me an alert somehow. Luckily, I haven't had to see anything yet. Sound, we're not going to see anything new here. Display, we will see something new here is Daydream. This is new to 4.2. Some people are going to find it pretty useful, I think. Not so much for me yet. So it basically is when to daydream, is the screensaver. When to daydream while charging, docked, or either. So we can show you, if I just push start now, it's going to go into the daydream state. Got a really dim clock. Color, start now. This is just going to go through a bunch of shades of colors. Really riveting stuff right here. Sorry, we can't see the end of this. So I actually don't use it. I'm not a fan of the idea that the clock would stay on the whole time. The whole time it's charging, so if it's just left on overnight, the clock would just always be on. Yeah, I just would guess that that's probably not good for the phone, but I don't know. I don't use it. That's the only thing new that I see, well, other than the wireless display, which I don't have any, but basically it would be AirPlay for Android. Storage, we do got a new, as far as I know, a nice new feature here. Well, this is calculating, so this is the 16 gig model. When it showed up, I had, right, like it says right about there, 13 gigs free. You know, I've got more apps than I normally would have. I'm not a big app user, or at least the apps that I use aren't big. So I still have quite, in my opinion, quite a lot of space left. I'm not storing any music. Probably the biggest things I have are podcasts and the Google Play magazines. But one nice new thing here is that when we type in apps, it's going to take it all apps sorted by size. It did that last time in 4.1. Taking pictures, it's going to take you right to pictures. What I think is new though is audio. So it's going to, I think if I didn't have these installed, it's going to take me there. So I'll just say that. And it's going to show me all the audio tracks that I have. Downloads, it's going to take me to all the downloaded files that I have. Miscellaneous is just going to kind of show me all the folders sorted by size again, which is super nice. So you can see Audible's taking up nearly a gig. Dogcatcher, which is podcasts, is almost a gig. So these are really nice, and I can just get rid of them right from here. It's really convenient, especially when you're stuck with only 16 gigs or 13 gigs of data, or even worse, on my Nexus I only have 8 gigs, and I'm, every other week trying to have to clear out some data. So another easier way that they made it to clear out the data, you can see cache data, tap that, and you can automatically just clear it all out and free up 400 megabytes for me. So that is definitely some really helpful stuff there. We get into the battery. This is the exact same that you're used to seeing. Apps, they're just doing the minor UI tweaks in here, where in Ice Cream Sandwich they revamped it and they wanted you to be scrolling everywhere, but you couldn't scroll in apps. So something new in Jelly Bean is you can actually scroll in here. So they're really trying to bring that scrolling columns to all parts of the system. So they did bring it, luckily. But other than that, apps are going to look the same, except little things like we'll find. They tried to make these permissions a little bit clearer now, so you can see we have an icon and then the permissions granted for that setting. So it's saying for using data networks. If you tap on that, it's going to even give you more of a description. Prevent phone from sleeping. Allows the app to prevent the phone from going into sleep. So for somebody who gets paranoid about what their app's permissions mean in the other versions, it was a little bit cryptic. You really have to kind of dig down to find out what they mean, but now with these nice descriptions, it's all there for you. So location access, really the only thing that changed here is the layout. Everything looks pretty much the same though. Security, we still have the face unlock. Now one thing that I did notice, I don't want to go through the whole setup again, but it's got this thing now where you have to, it does a liveness check, it calls it, and you have to blink while it's scanning your face, so that somebody cannot use a picture. It's like they finally admitted that people can use pictures to unlock your face unlock. So they've got liveness check in there now, which is pretty neat. So this is still in security. Device administrators, maybe if you're hooked up to your company's work, they're going to be showing up in there. Same with trusted credentials. Verify apps is something new, I believe, where it's going to scan apps that are installed and make sure that they're not, they don't have any viruses. Luckily, I haven't had that issue. So location access, this is probably going to, oh, we already went there. Language and input, this is all pretty familiar. Voice search, this is the same setting that comes from Google now. I've unchecked. Block offensive words is checked by default, so I'd suggest unchecking that, make your searches a little easier. And if you haven't already, just check to make sure that you've got the correct language installed. And that's pretty straightforward, so back up and reset. So I think this is pretty new. This is at least new to Jelly Bean, where within your accounts for Google, now you have these different settings options. They all kind of take you to a setting within a certain Google app. So this is within Maps settings, your location reporting. So you can adjust your location options here. This is going to take you to the Google Now search options, and let's see. So this is the map settings, and it actually took us to this. So we'll get out of there. Search filters, I prefer to put it on no filtering. Then your Google Plus settings and ads. I've got it checked. I'm not quite sure, how it's going to hurt me to uncheck it, but to each their own. Nothing new here. What you may see here that you may not have if you have 4.2 is this developer options menu. So let me just show you how you would get that. You would go into your about phone. Oops. So about phone, we're going to scroll to the bottom, build number, just tap it a bunch of times. It's going to tell me I'm already a developer, but for you it'd say, okay, keep tapping. Okay, congratulations, now you're a developer. And you get these options. If you're a developer, you know what they mean. If you're not, then honestly, I wouldn't mess around with them too much. Especially don't mess around with background process limit. This is something that I imagine most people who have these task killers would think this is the solution to their problems. But, especially on the Nexus 4 and on most phones that have come out in the last couple of years, they have enough memory that Android can manage it well. Now, it doesn't mean that every app that you want to close is going to get closed, and it doesn't mean that every app you want to keep open is going to stay open. But if you mess around in here, I can promise you it's going to come back to bite you. So, I think that is almost it. Let me show you real quick the clock and camera. On the clock now, we actually have the countdown timer, 5 minutes, start. I can add a minute real quick, and I can just get away from it. And we have the timer, start. We got 1 lap down. We got another lap down. Got another lap, and stop. 9.99, right under 10 seconds. Exactly what I was hoping to get. So that's our nice new feature there. We'll go into gallery editing, because you've probably already seen how to take a photosphere video, and you've probably actually already seen this, but let me show you something real quick. We'll dig into the camera. This is actually a photosphere I took earlier. So we would push this to get into photosphere, which is a street view for your camera. It's really pretty cool. So this is a picture I took yesterday. You can see it clips it together pretty well. If you're looking for it, you can notice where it gets a little fuzzy, but I'm taking a 360 degree picture from my phone. I'll give it a little slack. Another option is to do this weird tiny planet view, which is pretty cool. The only thing I'm really not quite sure is sometimes I'll be zooming out and it doesn't zoom out, but yeah, let's see, I can't quite get that all figured out. So that's pretty neat. I can't, for some reason, I'll go Google Plus. I think that I recently saw somebody put up a photosphere. Either way, it seems that I can't view somebody else's photosphere from my camera, which is kind of odd. And the only way that I know for a fact you can do it is within Google Chrome on your computer. So if we check out my gallery, I'll go into download. This is a photosphere that somebody from Android Central put up, but as you can see, I get no photosphere option. I can't figure it out, like if there's an option that I'm missing or how I would ever get that on there. But as you notice here, on every picture you're going to have this. This is your editing option, so you can, Instagramify your pictures in a bunch of ways. It's gonna be cool if you want that kind of thing. So that's that. And that is 4.2. If you want to take a look into anything else, just leave a comment below, or check out my other videos too. I'm going to go in depth on some of the apps and some more information about this beautiful Nexus 4. So thanks guys for watching. Let me know if you want to see anything else. See ya.